Hello, I'm Tim Lagasse, and surprisingly, I'm the voice of Crash from Crash with Bernstein, and you're watching the Du Bois podcast. If you know what's good for you.
What'd I tell you about putting foreign objects in the toilet?
Foreign? Check my tag, pal. I am made in the USA. My eyes are a choking hazard.
Yo quiero, Don Pedro.
Eres una mentirosa. Don Pedro es mi esposo.
Imposible. Don Pedro es mi esposo.
Puerca.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Voice Podcast. My guest today is a voice actor, puppeteer, puppet designer, and director. You may have heard his voices, Mr. Cook in Allegra's Window, Ubi, and Crash and Bernstein. And you may have seen his work in projects such as Sesame Street and The Muppets, and many more. So welcome the legend himself, Mr. Tim Lagasse. Welcome, Tim.
I'm a legend? When did that happen? Does that mean I'm old? That means I'm old, right? If you're a legend, I'm old. Oh, well. I'm glad I got it from you, Joe.
So
how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Tim. How are you doing? Like, how are you about to? How are you doing, Tim? How's Tim doing?
I'm doing okay. It's the holidays and things are winding down. I'm wrapping up presents for my nephews, get them out the door. They're living on the other side of the country for me, so I don't trust the mail, so I get them out early.
That's true. That's crazy. I think it's so delayed, the mail nowadays. It's so.
Well, we were all relying on it more since the pandemic, so they're working hard. They're working harder than they ever have.
That's true. Awesome. Yeah, because believe it or not, Tim, I started these interviews in 2020 because the pandemic made people down and depressed and talk about. I will help cheer people up, lift positivity up, help make them happy.
I love you for it too, Joe.
Thank you. I love for example, Crash and Bernstein was a big part of my childhood because oh my god, so I grew up with that show.
Wait, how old are you now?
I am now 20. So
that was 10 years ago. So you were 10, right?
Yeah.
I've been out here 10 years. Yeah.
I feel
and all the kids on that show are all grown up too. They're all grown ups now.
Tim, what made you want to become a voice actor and puppeteer? And who would you say is your biggest inspiration for voice acting and puppeteering? What would you say?
When I was very young,
okay,
I became a big fan of the Muppets. I am as old as Sesame Street, so you can always tell by what season number they am by how many years old I am. So I became a big fan of Sesame Street and the Muppets, and they always made me laugh, and my whole family would watch it together. The one show my whole family would watch, and I loved that. And I was in high school, and I found out that there was a school in Connecticut where I grew up, where people went to college to learn how to be puppeteer, and some of them would then go on to work for the Muppets. And I was like, wait a minute, that's a job? It never occurred to me that was someone's job and that I could go to college to get that job. And that's exactly what I did. Most people weren't very happy about it. You can imagine my parents are like, wait, that's a job? You're not doing that job. No one knows. You don't know what that job is. I respect that. They wanted to make sure I was going to be taken care of. And it's a very hard job. But I found out that I was good at it and that I loved it. And I loved, and I, to this day, it took me many years, but I made it. I've been on Sesame Street. I worked for the Muppets, and all of the things that 8-year-old Tim dreamed has all come true.
That's awesome. Wow. That is, wow. I'm sorry, just think about it. Did you have a favorite Muppets character and Sesame Street character then, growing up? Yeah.
I loved so many of them. Okay. Grover was my first love.
Ooh.
Grover was always my favorite, especially when he was Super Grover. It would always make me laugh. I was a fan of Ernie. Who else? God, I loved all the Muppets, but Grover was a particular favorite at the time. I know as I get older, I have different favorites all the time now. Animal, when Muppet Show came around, Animal and Beaker. All the nonverbal Muppets always made me laugh. Animal doesn't say one word at a time, and Beaker didn't say anything, and I love those characters. And it's so funny. I love those characters. Do I have any other favorite? I can't really call a particular favorite. Now, one of my favorites to work with is Pepe.
Ooh.
I love
Ooh.
Pepe. Pepe makes me laugh. Pepe is really silly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Muppet?
Okay, it's generic. Either Kermit or Fonzie. Fonzie Bear. Fozzie Bear.
Fozzie Bear, for sure. Yeah.
Fozzie Bear.
No, Kermit. Can't go wrong with Kermit.
Yeah, Kermit the Frog. I can't do a good with Kermit the Frog.
You don't have to. There's already someone doing it. You don't have to do Kermit. Someone else will do Kermit already. Do your own voices.
That's so cool. Like you got to work on your shows. You grew up with. I mean, like for example, like wow. Sorry.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I still don't believe it. And then since I moved out here, I also build puppets too. I got to build the Skeksis for the latest version of Dark Crystal. I got to build Skeksis, and I got to work with the Muppets. My favorite thing is I was in New York on a date. I used to live in New York City, and I was unmarried at one point in my life, and I was on a date with a girl, and it was around this time of year. And we were walking by Lincoln Center, and they were doing a tree lighting. I'm like, what's going on? And the Muppets, the Sesame Street puppets, were there doing the tree lighting. And one of the guys recognized me and waved me over. And Big Bird comes out of the tent. There's a tent where all the Muppets were waiting. And Big Bird comes out of the tent, and Big Bird goes, "Hi, Tim." And I'm like, "Hey, Big Bird." And the girl goes, "Bird knows your name." It didn't help with the date, but...
She's like,
strange
what?
to know that Big Bird knows my name.
Hey, that's wow, that's crazy. Sorry.
Get him, Joe.
Now, what was your favorite thing that you puppeteer? Like your favorite you worked on?
I love all of them, Joe. I love all of them equally, Joe. I have to tell you that Crash is a particular favorite of mine because, and only because, it's the only non-educational show for children that I've worked on. Crash was only a show was made just to be funny for tween boys. That was its only purpose. All the other shows I work on, you have to be careful and responsible because we were being funny to teach something, teaching you how to read or teaching you how to behave or teaching you. The show I do on Apple TV Plus is teaching little kids about pre-coding. There's always a purpose. Crash had no purpose other than to make people laugh. And I got to be more stupid on that show than I got to be on any other show ever. So it was fun to be stupid. And it was fun to play with other kids. Usually it's just puppets. I'm puppets with other puppets, but there was like these kid actors who thought I was funny, and I would like to make them crack up on set. That was my favorite. So that was fun. It was a fun show to do. It was a really hard show to do. It was the hardest show I've ever worked on, but also it was so much fun.
Wow. Can you do some of Crash's voice?
I'm not doing it now. I don't sound like Crash right now. Crash's voice is almost my voice. I'll tell you the origin story of Crash. Crash's voice is that they gave us this puppet and they said, do what's the voice? And I read the script, and the whole purpose of the script of Crash. One of the main things about Crash was the girls had to hate Crash. That was, they had to hate him. And he was a cute puppet. How does a girl's like, oh, he's cute. So like, how do I make him really not like him? So I made him sound like he was like a weird old 50-year-old man. Hey, how you doing? I found this like the most horrendous voice I could find inside me. That seemed to work out really great. Though imagine doing this voice all day. I had to drink a lot of tea. I'd go home and I would sound like this. My wife would say, "Stop doing the voice." Like, I'm not doing the voice right now. This is just my voice now because I've been doing it all day. I just shredded my throat from doing the voice all day. And I don't know if you noticed, but Crash yells a lot. I would do all of my lines very loud. So it's not. I should have thought better about it. I should have found a better voice for my throat, but it worked out. It was a fun show. People seem to like it. You seem to like it, right?
Oh hell yeah! I miss it so much. I wish it would come back. To be honest,
I love doing it. It'd be great if it did come back, but I'm lucky it's on that you can see it on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Yeah, check out people. If you haven't seen it yet, watch on Disney Plus. See what you
Watch it over and over and over again, as many times as you can, and tell your friends.
spread the word.
Spread the word.
Now, can you walk me through the audition process? How did you land the role of Crash? How did you?
Oh, I wish audition stories were more interesting. First they go, here, make a tape of you reading these lines. And then they go, okay, and then they pick a bunch of people. And then they go, okay, you're gonna I think Crash was the very first Skype audition I ever did. Every audition I did before Crash was in person. And that was the beginning of having this technology here. And I had the head writer on one little window, and I had the Disney executive in another window, and I was in this window. But none of us had strong enough internet, so we had to go to the theater on Broadway. I was living in New York at the time, and we had to go to the theater where they had Mary Poppins. It was like this. It was they had Lion King up the street, and like there was a Mary Poppins theater. So Disney owned the theater, so they had a green room upstairs in this theater, and my puppet friends. I saw my friends coming in and out. They auditioned every puppeteer in town. So as I was arriving, and one friend of mine was leaving, like, "Oh, you're auditioning for this too?" Like, "Yeah, how was it?" "Ah, it's fine. You'll have a good time." And then when I was leaving, another one of my friends, "Oh, you're auditioning for this too?" Yeah, there's not too many puppeteers, so when there's a big cattle call audition, you see all your friends there, so we all have a good time. So they put me in a little closet with a computer, and I had to do the voice again. And the head writer was like, the creator of the show was like, "Oh, that's an interesting choice." And I'm like, "No one else is doing this voice?" He's like, "No, everyone's doing like puppet voices." So I was the only one that sounded like this. Hey. So I think that's what got me the job. It was between me and one other person, and then they flew me to California. In the middle of winter, which is great. I love when people fly me somewhere warm when it's cold. And just two of us, we had to do it for. They gave us a puppet that looked exactly like this. And the puppet they originally designed was not going to look like this. They had this puppet that looked like a Judah Friedlander. It was like this big fat with an afro, with curly hair, and they gave us this purple puppet, and we auditioned with that, and I got the job. And when I get the job, I went back to New York, and my friends in New York were building the puppet that they wanted. They were building this other version of Crash, which looked like this Caucasian puppet. And they said, "Hey, what do you think of the puppet?" And I mean, built by a very good friend of mine. And I said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I went, "It's not as funny as the puppet I auditioned with." And there was an executive in the room when I said that. They called back and they went, "Hey, you know what? We're going to go with that purple puppet that you auditioned with, and not the one they made." I felt terrible. They got paid for it.
Wow, you know what Crash a little bit looks like in a way? But I even see it like a purple version of Walter from the Muppets.
I think he looks like a purple version of Roosevelt Franklin. Are you old enough to know who Roosevelt Franklin is? Roosevelt Franklin was a puppet on the first 5 seasons of Sesame Street. It's almost exactly Crash. So it wasn't, but he was maroon, and he wore a striped shirt. Google Roosevelt Franklin. And then someone said that he looks like if Roosevelt Franklin and Walter had a baby. So,
yo,
if you look at it, yeah.
Wow.
There's only so many crayons in the box. You can only do so much with fleece and fur and ping pong balls.
No, but I really like. Is that a poster? I want to say it's really cool.
That's oh yeah, that's it here. That's the poster. There's Cole. There's my buddy Cole, and there's me in a toilet. I'm actually inside the puppet for this photograph. They cut out the back, and I'm holding the puppet on, and then they put the bubbles in later. Yeah.
So you were actually in the toilet?
I put this poster in my bathroom next to my toilet. It felt like the only appropriate place to put it. It's a picture of a toilet. You don't put that in your dining room. You don't have your guests who are eating dinner
That's
look at
true.
you sitting in a toilet. That's not appropriate, Joe.
That's true. Now, Tim, favorite Crash and Bernstein character besides Crash?
Pesto.
Pesto. I know why, and I think I know why.
Why? All right, you tell me why, Joe. I want to hear what you say. I want to hear what you think.
I think you like Pesto because Pesto didn't really like Crash that much. Remember, he was kind of jealous of him.
You know he was acting. I have to tell you, I'm sure you've heard that a lot of the kids that work on Disney shows are kind of weird.
No offense.
They kind of grew up being in show business, and they're kind of used to being a little protected. They get a little performers. All artists are a little weird. Well, not me. I'm normal, but every kid on this show was so well adjusted and fun and had great parents and good families. And I had so much fun with I miss every single one of them because I had so much fun with all of them. Maybe not McKenna Grace. No, McKenna Grace is the one that became a superstar of this show. She was like a little kid. That was her first TV show, was Crash and Bernstein. The guy who played Cole, Wyatt Cole. I still love him as well. We'll call each other and we'll catch up. I love him. But the guy playing Pesto, Aaron
Landon.
Aaron Landon, what a great guy. And he just took it so seriously and wonderfully, and he was just there and in the moment, and I loved how seriously he was taking it, because me, I'm doing a comedy show. You can't take it seriously. You just keep being silly and it's whatever. I'm doing a puppet show. And he was taking it so seriously. And I loved watching him take it so seriously and just want to get it right and good. And I loved him, watching him struggle and succeed every day. And they wrote him as like he was the punching bag. He's like, I was always the butt of the joke, and he just took it with a smile. And Pesto, I love watching this poor Pesto just take it on the chin every day.
You guys, it was such a great cast. You got like McKenna Grace, you got Alana Gregory, you got Landry Bender, you got a whole bunch of.
Landry Bender's are going to be a superstar. Alana Grace is a supermodel now. I want Gregory is a supermodel. I mixed that up, didn't I? Wanda Gregory, the supermodel. McKenna Grace is a superstar. Landry Bender should be a superstar. The mom, Mary Birdsong. Yep. Mary Birdsong is one of my favorite people. So much her funniest stuff never made it in the show. She's so funny. She's so funny and so great. I would do anything. I would love to do another show with her too, because so funny.
It's like a great chemistry, like a family.
It was a great cast with a great chemistry. Everyone got along very well, and everybody like that. And we were very lucky to have just really great talent on that show. The writers wrote great stuff, and the cast was just so. Oh, Danny Woodburn's gonna be mad at me if I don't say Danny Woodburn. I love Danny Woodburn. He's like my Hollywood uncle. He took good care of me. I just moved to LA to do this TV show, and he was as a guest star. He played the landlord, and he and his wife were so kind to me and my wife. It was just great. But Pesto's my favorite.
Nice. Sorry to ask before we continue, Tim. For some reason now you're like if you could pan your camera down a little bit.
Is this not good, Joe? Is this not a good shot? You know what? Like that. This is how I do my job, Joe. This is what. Okay, I don't sit on camera. That's not my job. This is what I do. This is how I do my job. I'm gonna do the whole interview like this now. That's it. That's what you get. And you get my hand. Oh look, it's Ubi, everybody. Look, we got Ubi on the show now. You got a celebrity. You finally did it. You got Ubi.
Oh God. Sorry.
Yeah, is that better? Do I look better now, Joe? You're looking out for me. Okay.
No, no. Would you be willing to come back and voice Crash again if they asked you to?
Oh, of course, yeah. They better not hire anybody else.
Yeah, you gotta make Tim come back. The legend, remember the legend? You know. I mean,
The legend. You call
legend.
me old, Joe. You call me a legend. You call me old.
No, because that'd be a cool thing, like a reunion episode, like one more episode, like a movie, something. You know.
A movie would be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would love doing a movie. That would be all those guys. It'd be funny they're all old in the old room. 10 years later, what happened to Crash? Write it, Joe.
Now, if I could ask about this, because it's okay, this is kind of like a controversial question, right, Tim?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Can you tell me what happened with Commando Crash? I know that was supposed to come out, but never got picked up. What happened?
Showbiz happened to it, Joe. Showbiz. Not every show that gets written gets made, and not every show that goes to a pilot gets bought and picked up. There are better things, and they test them with an audience. They never told me why they didn't like it, but we made one, and they didn't buy it. I've been on lots of shows that have been canceled. I've auditioned for lots of shows that never made it. It's just the nature of the business, you know.
Because I remember it was supposed to come out, and they like never picked it up. I think I was reading.
They never picked it up. We shot one. No, my favorite thing. It was a weird premise, I thought, for Disney. The premise was that Crash went to military school.
Yep.
And I'm like, military school on the Disney Channel? Are we gonna have guns? That doesn't seem right. I mean, they let me have a sword on Crash and Bernstein. And they were like, you can't point the sword at anybody. Be very careful with the sword. I was only able to cut things up, and I could never threaten anybody with it. Which I get. I come from preschool. I know. I was doing things I never thought I'd ever be able to do with a puppet. So having Crash have weapons, I thought was strange. But hey, I was happy to have a job, so I showed up. And one of the first scenes. So I don't know if you know this. I don't want to ruin the magic for you, Joe. But Crash can't move his hands.
Oh my goodness!
I ruined it. I ruined everything. I'm sorry. There's wire inside Crash's hands, and you can kind of pose them to do things. Like I can point if I want to point in a flat or like that. If you need to change it, you got to stop the camera and repose his hands. So he can't pick things up unless it has a rod on it or he attach it to his hand. So there was a scene where Crash was going to load a grenade launcher, and they put a grenade, one of the grenade launcher grenades, in his hand. And I'm hiding, and I'm laying down on the ground behind a bunch of sandbags, like a little bunker, and I have the puppet with a grenade, and I'm waiting for them to roll, and I'm just like, and I started slamming the grenade on the table. I don't think this is good, guys. I think this is a bad grenade, and I'm like slamming it on the table. They rolled at all that. They rolled the camera immediately because whatever they had written was I was like, no, just do that. Just bang the grenade on the table. That's funny. So it's like the only thing I remember from that pilot. That and being shot in the face with corn.
Interesting. So I'm just
like they were like I rigged the Crash had rigged a cannon to shoot ears of corn into his mouth, and I was sitting in a baby high chair and they were shooting actual ears of corn with an air gun, like really fast and hard into the puppet's face. The corn was exploding everywhere. That's all I remember from that pilot. I don't remember anything else. I don't have a copy of it. I've never seen it finished. The only thing I know about it is what I did with it. And Big Aaron was the other star with me. The guy. There's an episode of Crash at Bernstein where a big a superhero actor comes back to high school that Cole that Wyatt is a big fan of. Mm-hmm. It's a big redheaded actor named Aaron. I can't remember Aaron's last name. I'm so bad with names.
Sorry, Aaron.
Sorry, Aaron. I love you. He's a great physical actor. One of the few actors that was not intimidated by a puppet. Some people get freaked out, like, can I touch him? What do I do with the puppet? Like, it's an actor. Just do whatever you want. And he started grabbing the puppet by the hair and punching him in the face. And like, oh, you get it. But his other job is so Aaron was he played the sergeant in charge of the military school. But his other real job is he replaces all the screams for all the superheroes in all of the Marvel movies. Whenever like Captain Marvel or the Hulk or Iron Man, they have to like they bring him in he's like a professional screamer.
Really? Never knew that.
How do you get that job?
I never knew that. That's crazy to think
You
about.
know that? Like, first of all, how do you know someone's a good screamer? And they go, you know what? I want this guy to replace all the Marvel screamers. This is real job. It's not a joke. This is absolutely the truth. I'm in awe of him.
And so you don't even have like a copy of Commando Crash? Like nothing?
No,
Like,
no. They never said
gave it-
no. I never saw it. They went to the executives and they went, nope. So they don't. When they don't want to buy a show, they don't want it to be out in the world. It's also why I don't have a Crash. They don't want me to be able to make Crash content without their approval because Crash is theirs. They own Crash. They created Crash. I just came in to be him. I'm not Crash. I mean, I am Crash, but I'm not. There's a team of people who write what Crash can say, and Disney wants to make sure that you're not, saying horrible things. Their characters. You don't want Mickey Mouse kind of go, saying terrible things about people, right?
Yeah, you're
Goofy saying terrible things about people. So why you don't want to Crash? So I don't have a Crash. But because I would do that too. If I had a Crash, I would get Crash a TikTok channel, and he would just say stupid things to people.
because that'd been cool.
They're very smart. They knew I would do that.
Because that'd been cool, like to see like a little Commando Crash if you had it, but you don't. Damn.
Nope. No. Commando Crash looks exactly the same as this Crash. Same Crash. Same Crash, different group of kids.
Wow. That'd been cool. Like they should make come like I don't know. I would love to see it. See what it was like.
Me too, Joe.
It's like wow. So I just think. So you guys never had like any like merchandise, like toys or anything. Then they never gave you guys any.
No, there was no merch. They made a giveaway. They made a whoopee cushion with Crash's logo on it. I've got somewhere. As a giveaway. And they made some Band-Aids with Crash's face on it for giveaways, but that's it. And they made a bunch of the T-shirt that you're wearing. They made those shirts for grown-ups.
Yeah.
And they gave them to all the executives, and I was like, "Can I have one? I'm Crash. Can I have one?" So I have one. Normally, I try to get this stuff like that. I try to get it for my whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Like on Sesame Street, they all have Sesame Street hoodies, and my family, every time I'm on a show, I get them all the swag, but they're like, no, you get one.
That'd been cool if they made like a Crash puppet to give it to people, like you give your own Crash, like for like a little toy, like
Crash puppets are expensive to make. I mean, he looks simple, but stuffed animals are more expensive than a T-shirt.
I would love to have my own little Crash. That'd be cool. Just thinking about
You and a lot of guys, yeah, but yeah. You have to be on the air for 3 years before Disney starts making merchandise. That used to be the rule, anyways.
Man, that'd be cool if I had my own Crash. Could put in the background, right? That'd be cool.
I wish they had made. Occasionally I'll get an email from someone who's made their own Crash.
That's sick. That's sick. Just think about.
Make your own, and then people got to go. And I get emails all the time like, "Can I buy a Crash?" And I'm like, "You don't want me to make a Crash for you. I'm expensive. Go figure out how to make it yourself. I do it for a living. I'm going to charge you a lot of money to make a Crash. I haven't even made one for myself.
It looks like a long process, honestly.
About 100 hours.
Dang.
It's all the fleece on his face is hand stitched, so you don't see the seam. So he's got a seam right down the middle. That's a hand stitched and picked out. And you have to hand dye. You can't buy the fabric. You got to dye it, the material that color. You have to buy the white material, dye it that color. He's lined inside. It's built like a Muppet. If you look online on how to build a Muppet, that's kind of how he's built. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And you have to use terrible glue. You have to use a shoemaker's glue, which is a great flexible contact cement, but you got to use it outside. Otherwise, it does horrible things to you. Only fumes are really bad for you. They give you brain damage and liver damage.
Oh my god.
You got to wear a respirator. Yeah. See, you thought making puppets was sissy.
Now, is there a certain type of role you would love to do, like a Western time travel, sir? Certain type of.
What I like about doing puppets is that I can play things other than human.
Okay.
You could be, yes, a cowboy or a vampire. Actors get to play those things. I could be a can of tuna, the letter W, a violin playing penguin, um, a fairy, a troll, a mud puddle, a box of tissues. Those are more interesting to me. Playing characters that have never been played before, and that's the magic of puppetry. Is that you can bring anything to life. Mostly you play animals, but the character I play on Helpsters is a monster. I'm a monster. Yay! What does a monster do? So people don't come in with any preconceived notions, so I can put on that character whatever I want to, without anyone kind of going, "That's not how a monster sounds. That's not how a cowboy sounds." That's not what a penguin sounds like. Like, this is what my penguin sounds like.
That's really cool. Because you're very talented, like Tim. Like I said, you're like amazing.
Oh, you're nice. I'll send you $5 for saying that.
But you're like, it's so cool. Like you're so gifted.
I'm just a crazy person who found a way to make a living at being a crazy person, Joe. I found my pocket. You find out what you're best at, and you lean into that, and you make a living at it. And I'm not really good at a lot of things, but I know how to make people laugh, and I know how to play with dolls. So I stick with that. I like doing cartoon voices too. I haven't done a lot of those, but because I don't know why. I keep trying. I keep auditioning for parts. Trying to get into video games now.
Ooh, that'd be a Crash and Bernstein video game would be cool.
I know.
That'd be cool.
You're not telling me anything I don't know, Joe.
Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars that you work with? Co-stars.
I occasionally have a text back and forth with Cole.
Okay.
He and I used to meet up every once in a while. Every once in a while, Landry and I'll have a little message over over DMs on Instagram. She's always on Instagram, so I know where she is, and I wish her happy birthday and things like that. I bumped into Juana once or twice at the flea market, like with all the superstars go to the flea market. I talk with Mary Birdsong a lot, and Danny Woodburn. I used to talk to him a lot. I haven't talked to him in a while. I haven't talked to him before the pandemic. But also, I'm friends with the head writer, Mike Larson, who kind of had Crash's voice. He and I are still keep in touch. I haven't heard from McKenna Grace. She's too busy being a superstar. And I actually, I hadn't heard from Aaron Landon in years and years and years. And I'm also a magician member of the Magic Castle. I did magic to pay for puppet school. And so I'm a member. I go there almost every week. And Aaron said, "Hey, you want to Magic Castle?" Like, I haven't heard from you in like 8 years. Yeah. And like, oh, that's right, because you have to be 21 or older to get in. And when I met all these kids, they were all 12 and 13. And I think Wanda was like 16. She had just started driving. And I was like, "Oh, that's right. You're old enough to get into the castle." So he and I we hung out. I could see him about 6 months ago. And we hung out at the castle all night. Had a great time and catching up, stuff like that. Now he's touring Thailand right now. If you look at his Instagram, I know, must be nice.
Yeah, you know magic. Do you know any cool tricks? Ooh.
I know all the cool tricks, Joe. I know them all. I don't have anything nearby. I just love doing it, but I don't do formal shows anymore. It's mostly I do it if I'm on a TV set and we're all waiting around for the camera, and I go, "Hey guys, come here, watch this thing," and I'll do something silly. And I mostly do it to kind of torture my nephews.
Like I said before, you're lucky to work with Alana. Just saying. I'm just saying, Tim.
I think her boyfriend's bigger than you, Joe. I don't think you can take him.
She's just very pretty. Okay, I'm just leaving it out there, everybody.
And she's also a great person. Actually, there's a lot of pretty girls on the Disney Channel, but she is probably one of the most well-rounded and genuine and kind. Sometimes actors can be a little like, it's all about me, and she's not like that at all. She's a really great person. So, yeah, I wish her only just the best because she deserves it.
She
You
looks
picked right. You picked well, Joe. You know a quality human when you see it. She's
She
not
look
just pretty.
she looks humble. Like honestly, like you could tell I could read people if that makes sense. You know.
Yeah, she's just the nicest, and her family's great too. Her parents are fantastic.
I think if I remember correctly too, didn't she go to school out here in Chicago when she was younger? If I remember correctly.
I don't know. You gotta ask her. You better get her on the show, Joe.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
She's bigger than this nerd here.
You won't be able to say a word to her. You're gonna be stupid the whole time. You're like, hi, my name is Joe. Hi, I'm Joe. I'm not gonna want to hi. You're pretty. Hi.
It will be like the Wayne's World moment. I'm not worthy.
I'm not worthy. You old enough to know Wayne's World.
I know a lot of stuff, Tim, like 70s to 90s.
I know lots of Tim.
I do like my favorite music is in the 80s. Or not.
You're a band.
Queen. The 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Okay, yeah. Queen the 80s, yeah. 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Sure. Don't say Bohemian Rhapsody.
My favorite song? Oh, that's easy. Either I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's very underrated. One Vision. Did you ever hear that one before?
Who sings it?
All of them, basically.
Oh, Queen. Oh, it's One Vision.
Oh yeah. Oh, is it my favorite song of all time? You want to ask me? My favorite song of all time. Oh my God, Tim, that's so many good songs. It's like
Yeah. I'm the same way. I have a long list of favorite songs.
I mean, my other bands I like is like the Cars. The Cars. Huey
Cars? Oh, sure.
Huey Lewis.
So I used to have a puppet workshop in Manhattan with another puppet artist on 19th Street between First and Second Avenue, and every day we would leave to go get lunch, and we'd see Rick Ocasek drive by, and we were like, he must have lived in the neighborhood. Like, that's Rick Ocasek driving in a big black SUV. He'd wave. We'd wave at him, so I'd wave at Rick Ocasek. Hey, it's Rick Ocasek. Rest in peace, Rick Ocasek.
Wow. Oh, I also like Huey Lewis in the News. Oh, if you know there.
Wow, you're going back, dude.
I told you I like my older like Tim. my mom calls me an old soul to them because I love all the older stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, I don't know. To me, that's not oldies. That was my contemporary. To me, Beatles were oldies.
No, but I love the old music.
You're calling my music oldies, Joe. See, that's twice you called me old. You called me old 2 times. First, you called me a legend. They said that my music that I used to do in high school was oldies.
But like the music today doesn't compare to back then. You know, back then. You know what I mean?
Different. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Wow. Now, who would you say is the coolest person that you have worked with? Your whole career. Who's it? Ooh, Tim.
Yeah, put me on the spot, Joe. Put me on the spot, dude. I've been lucky. When you do puppets, you get lucky and you get to work with a lot of celebrities.
Okay.
All the time, and you meet them for a couple minutes, and you never hear from them again. But you get to have a real conversation with like someone that you're a fan with every once in a while. Christopher Maloney came on Helpsters, which is the show I do for Apple TV, the Sesame show I do for Apple TV. And Christopher Maloney, he occasionally does a funny part, but he plays a very serious cop on Law and Order, and he was so funny all day, crying, laughing. And this is a puppeteer friend of mine who had no idea that he was funny. He was just more like shock laughing, like just shocked at how funny he was. And just played it totally straight. He's so great. Also, Andrea Martin. I don't know if you know who Andrea Martin is.
That sounds familiar.
So just a goddess of comedy. And I got lucky. Got to work. She came on Crash and Bernstein. She played the mother of the guy who kidnaps Crash. He steals Crash and gives it. That's Andrea Martin. I've always been a fan. She's so funny, and we were so lucky to get her. And I was sad that I didn't have any scenes with her, but I just got to watch her. And again, she's another person who her funniest stuff was on the cutting room floor. I was just sitting there just crying, laughing all day, and they didn't use any of it. I'm like, but then she came back to be on. We got her to come back on Helpsters, and just a joy, just so committed, so talented, just to be in the room, inspired. Like, I want to be that good. I want to be that good. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any cool? I don't know if you worked with his workshop, Jim Henson. Do you have any cool stories of Jim Henson?
I met Jim Henson.
You did meet Jim Henson
at the 1989 National Puppetry Festival in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I was in puppet school at the time, and we were doing HMS Pinafore by Gilbert and Sullivan with 120 puppets, 80 marionettes. It was this giant production, and we opened the festival. And Jim came a couple of days later, and he was just having lunch in the middle of the room, and I got my courage up to go up to talk to him. And I started to talk to him, and I realized I was not speaking English. I was just like, kind of like how you're going to be when you interview Juana. And he was very kind to me, and he took a picture with me. And he was a year later. He died.
Wow.
A year later, I never got to work with him. But I had since become friends with his youngest daughter, Heather. And I know, and the family, and Brian, of course, with Brian, and actually his widow Jane and I became pretty good friends. We got to hang out and talk. I learned a lot from her. She was a kind of a confidant of mine, and we and taught me a lot. Because Jane was actually one of the first people who invented the style of Muppet style puppetry. Jim and Jane together created that Muppet style of puppets, the look and the style of performing in camera like that. We would in camera like that. So she was actually the one that would train for a while, would train the new puppeteers, because she helped invent it. Does not get the credit she deserves. It's funny to kind of hang out be walking around at Muppets. Now just like walking in, and it's like, oh yeah, this brother. It's like a old home now. But it was such a place that I never thought I would ever be as a child. I'm so lucky to be able to be there and know those people.
He's rest in peace, a legend, Jim Henson.
Yeah. Oh, don't tell me.
Wow.
Without him, I wouldn't have the job. I wouldn't have had the life I had. I think I try to honor him every day, trying to do good work. I always just try to do the best work I can, and to elevate puppetry and be responsible with what I do in the same way he was responsible for what he did too. Try to be creative and innovative and move forward, but be responsible and care about people. Yeah. It's the best thing I can do. Way that I can honor him.
Like that. Now, if you didn't go into voice acting or puppet, being like a puppeteer, what do you think you would have done as a career? And what other interests and hobbies do you have besides voice acting and puppeteering? You got?
I would be a diner chef.
Really? Really?
I love making pancakes, Joe. I love making pancakes.
Really?
I love making pancakes at home fries. I might have been a chef.
Tim.
Tim. Why not? There's already a chef Lagasse though. Emerald already has. It's already Emerald Lagasse. He beat me to it. So, yeah, I might have been a chef. I might have been a professional magician, but I think chef would have been a better job. A little more stable. A baker. I'm a master baker, not cupcakes, bread. I love to cook. I love to make things. I'm someone who likes to make things. So I would have a career in which I made things. I was actually an intern at Disney Animation when I was a kid, right, in college, and I found out that I should not be an animator. I don't have the patience.
So you could be Chef Crash. Chef Crash. You said you want to be a chef.
Chef Crash. No, you don't want to eat anything that Crash would cook. Crash does not know what food is. He eats everything. He'll eat anything. Crash would be the worst chef on the planet. That's the best thing about him, is that he's just whimsical and he's kind of ADD. Crash is kind of ADD. Just like whatever the whim takes him there, he'll go and just do it. He's very selfish, very selfish, and just he's the id of a 12-year-old boy. Look that up. That's your homework.
Well, now since we were talking about music, favorite band or artist and type of music you like? What do you like, Tim? It's Tim like.
I listen to a lot of different things. I like rock music. I like classical music. I like really old country western, like Dolly Parton and Marty Robbins and
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers is a little newer. I like a little older. The Johnny Cash is where I was going for.
Okay.
Johnny Cash wasn't coming to me. I don't know why. I'm really into ska and reggae. I'm really into kind of more experimental stuff. I listen to everything. I like just like new sounds and things. I like people with a sense of humor. I like Frank Zappa because of his musicality and also his weird sense of humor. I like novelty records. I have a large collection of weird Christmas music, which I'll be playing. Already started playing. I really love jazz piano. I love jazz piano. Vince Guaraldi, Christmas music and jazz piano. It's like perfect together. So I don't really have I always have like like who's the thing I'm playing this week? Like what am I playing this week over and over and over again? Every week is different. But my music library is just massive, and I'll just hit shuffle and see what appears because I listen to so many different things. And I don't like to kind of define myself. I don't like to kind of. There's not one. I'm not loyal to any one kind of music. When's the last time I went to a concert? I went to go see Devo and Blondie. Is that old enough for you?
No, that's good stuff. You got. Oh my God! Wait, Devo. Then Whip It, Devo, Blondie sings "Tide Is High." I met her too, believe it or not.
You met Blondie? She's so cool. She's so. I think she's in her 70s now, and I saw her on a concert here in Pasadena. It was like Devo, Blondie, Morrissey, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay.
Who else was that guy? Somebody like all that era of all these artists. There were all these musicians that night, but that was like I really want to see Devo and Blondie, and that was my two bigs. So
Wow. So wait, do you like Huey Lewis at all? Out of curiosity.
Sure. Yeah. They're not in my top 20, but yeah. I want a new drug, right? Come on. See, I knew a song. I knew one.
Favorite movies and TV shows. Speaking of movies.
My favorite movies is it much easier. Young Frankenstein.
Ooh, okay.
And The Producers.
Okay.
Basically anything about books, but Young Frankenstein and The Producers. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Really?
I have a new one, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen that? That came out about 6 months ago. It's a really, really, really good movie. What other movies? Citizen Kane, and that's just because everyone says that. I actually like it. What are my other? A Night at the Marx Brothers, A Night at the Opera. Do you know the Marx Brothers?
Yeah, I know the Marx Brothers.
The opera. Night at the Opera, Day at the Races, Duck Soup.
Classics.
But A Night at the Opera is the best.
Do you like Abbott and Costello at all?
Sure. Come on. Who's on first? Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Abbott and Costello meet the werewolf. Abbott and Costello meet your mom. All of those movies.
Your mom. Oh God. Sorry, just thinking about.
I can remember them.
No, because I told you I know a lot. I'm telling you, Tim, I know a lot of stuff.
That is obvious, Joe. That is obvious.
Because I wish I could go back in time. Like if I could go to the 80s, and it's my favorite decade. Go to the 80s.
The 80s had its problems too. I had a mullet.
You had a mullet.
I had a picture of me. If you go look at my Instagram, I think the picture of me and Jim Henson is there, and I have a serious mullet.
Damn, that's awesome.
It was cool then, Joe.
Bring back the mullet.
No, don't bring back the mullet, Joe. And then in the 90s, I just grew it all out, and my hair was all the way down to my butt.
So you're almost like the 80s rock and roll band. You know, the rock bands that have the long hair, like White Snake, Bon Jovi, all those bands.
Yeah, it was longer than Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi wishes his hair was as long as my hair.
Now, Tim, favorite sports and favorite teams? Like sports at all?
I don't go for sport ball.
Sport balls?
I don't. Yeah, I don't go for sport ball. I know people do, and I'm happy for them. I'm always excited when the marching band comes out. Like, yay, the marching band! When are they gonna play? I'm there for the marching band. I like to go to Super Bowl parties.
Ooh, okay.
Because when the game is on, I'm in the kitchen with all the food and no one's in my way. And then when the commercials are on, I get front row center to watch the funny commercials while everyone's fighting to get a sandwich. It's a perfect party for me.
It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet, right?
And no one's in my way. I get front row seat. I get the best seating ever because I'm there for a different reason.
Nice.
I'm there for a 7-layer dip and funny commercials.
Now, Tim, what is your favorite food? What's Tim's favorite food?
Oh, I'm a terrible, horrible food snob.
Okay.
I eat everything. I'm an adventurous eater. There's very few things. What you should ask me is what don't I like? What food I don't like? I don't like bologna. I don't like marshmallow fluff, and I don't like mayonnaise.
Thank you. I hate mayonnaise. Sorry. Thank you.
Also, the only way I can eat marshmallow is melted in a Rice Krispie treat. Like, I hate marshmallows, but I love Rice Krispie treats. I don't know what it is, but that's I need butter and crunch inside my marshmallow, otherwise I won't eat it.
See, I hate mayonnaise, I hate pickles, and I hate onions.
You hate onion? How do you hate onion? The best. Oh, that's how I start every meal. I start cooking an onion, then I go, what am I going to add to this onion?
I just don't
There's
like
nothing better than the smell of a cook. I'm going to come over your house and cook onions, Joe.
Oh, no.
I can't wait.
Not the
Go to your
onion.
house and cook all the onions.
No, what was it? What was that? Well, you said you like, or you don't like. Wait, what food did you not like? You mentioned it.
What I don't or do?
You don't.
Bologna.
Okay. Oh, wait, why don't you like marshmallows? That's what I was asking. Marshmallows.
I don't like them.
Just
I
don't.
just don't like them.
So you like the steak
texture.
marshmallow, man?
No. I like to put them in the microwave and watch them get big. Don't do that, kids. Don't put a marshmallow in the microwave. At least put a paper plate down. Because you're going to destroy the microwave if you do it. But it's super cool. But don't do it.
PSA, everybody. PSA.
You can Google that. You can watch it on YouTube. There's other kids ruining their microwaves. You don't ruin your microwave.
So wait, I'm assuming, do you like burgers or pop? Do you like any of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I eat it. I'm an omnivore. I eat everything. I eat, that's the funny thing. I moved to California, and you think, like, California, oh, everyone's eating kale and avocado, and they're all healthy. This is the land of cheeseburgers. There are more cheeseburgers per square mile in this town than I've ever experienced in my life. I'm shocked. And everybody fights about what their favorite burger is in this town. The one thing I miss is pizza.
Ooh,
I grew up in New Haven, and I lived in Brooklyn for 20 years. I have a very specific idea of what I think is pizza, and they come out here like, "You like barbecue pizza?" I'm like, no, that is not pizza. Do not put pineapple on the pizza.
No, come to Chicago. We'll take you to a good pizza. That's where
That you mean pizza quiche? You guys eat like pizza quiche?
No, personally, I don't like deep dish.
That is too much cheese for me. I won't poop ever again if I have Chicago pizza.
Oh, wait, that's what I was gonna tell you. You said mayonnaise, right? You don't like mayonnaise?
I don't care for it.
Okay, my older brother Michael, he eats mayonnaise with his fries.
That's very Dutch of him. It's very Dutch. That's how the Dutch do it.
Really?
And the Belgians, yeah.
I never knew
Yeah,
that.
the Belgians, but they're not using like Miracle Whip. Like they're using like aioli, which is like fresh made mayonnaise. It's a different quality mayonnaise. But hey, if your brother can have all my mayonnaise on his French fries, go right ahead. God bless him.
Mayonnaise is nasty, Tim. I'm sorry.
Hey, you know, he's not making you eat it. It's all that matters. That's what he wants.
Nice. Now, Tim, do you have any projects in the works? Anything coming up, Tim?
I've got a couple things in development. Nothing really solid right now.
Okay.
It's been a slow year. I was very busy during the pandemic. Everyone wanted to do puppet shows during the pandemic. I did lots of crazy stuff in the pandemic, and it's been 2022 has been a little slow. But I've been pitching shows around stuff like that, and something will pick up. That's the nature of the business. It's just you're either busy beyond belief, or you're kind of like, well, maybe I will become a chef now. Maybe I'll get a food truck and make egg sandwiches. How about that? You'd buy my egg sandwiches, wouldn't you, Joe?
Not either. That
See,
sounds
there
good.
you go. Well, my first customer.
Okay. Wow. Now, Tim, what advice would you give younger kids or people who become a voice actor and puppeteer? What is your advice?
Do it.
Don't do it.
Show business. You have to really, really, really love it, because it is really hard, and a lot of people tell you that you're not good, or you're not good enough, or that you're not right, or that they don't like you, and you have to be able to put up with that, and like yourself enough to survive that, and you be willing to put up with that because you love it. You have to make sure that you love it. Otherwise, find something else you love. Find the thing that you love and do it. And I tell people, like, I don't tell everyone, like, oh, everyone should do this. I'm like, everyone needs to find the thing that they love. And I was very lucky that I found the thing that I love early enough in life that I was able to go to college for it. I figured it out when I was 15, which is not, most people don't figure out what they want to be for the rest of their life when they're 15. I also wanted to be a stuntman too. I should never have been a stuntman. I've always thought, I want to jump off buildings. See? But really find that thing, and don't be embarrassed about the thing that you love. Find the thing that you love and lean into it, and find a way to make that your life, and you'll have a happy life.
I like that. I also like to stay humble. Remember where you came from. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get why people get cocky. You know what I mean?
Well, some people, you kind of need that kind of an attitude in show business sometimes.
Okay.
To survive all the negativity that you get, all the rejection you get. Sometimes that is, people cultivate that kind of a personality to survive. And but humble's better. Like, you interviewed Tom Kinney. Tom Kinney is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. So
you met Tom in your life?
Oh yeah.
That's
Actually,
sick.
so one of the few perks when you have a Disney show, and I don't have one now, but when I did, two things you get to do. You get to go to Disneyland for free. I know. Sign me up, right? And occasionally they ask you to go to a movie premiere.
Okay.
So you got to put on a nice outfit, and you go, and you go, because then there's like press there, and then take pictures, and they can promote all their shows. So if you're on a show, you go to that because there's all this press, and you can go, oh yeah, I've seen this movie, but I'm on a TV show. So it's part of the mechanism, the advertising mechanism. And Tom Kinney, we went to go see Frankenweenie. We went to the Frankenweenie premiere. It was me and the whole cast from Crash.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to see the movie. We got free popcorn and the movie. And then you go across the street and there's a party. And it's Tim Burton and all those people, and I get to meet Elvira like that. And I hadn't met Tom, but we have a mutual friend, and I know who he is. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of SpongeBob SquarePants, and I'm also a huge fan. He's also a comedian before. He's on a couple of shows like Mr. Show and stuff like that I love. I love his work. Always funny. And he walks by the table. It's his table for the kids. Hey, kids, what are you guys doing? And all the kids talking to him. And I go, guys, do you know who that is? And they're like, no. I go, Tom. And Tom goes, ah! He goes, ah! And they all go insane. They all just went insane. They were talking for like 20 minutes. I had no idea they were talking to SpongeBob the whole time. And I'm just sitting there kind of going, oh, whatever, this is going to be good when I tell them. But so nice, so generous, so classy. I aspire to that. I'm not as classy. I'm more rude, as you've seen. I'm a bear poking jerk. That's what I am.
It's cool because him and his wife were on Mr. Show. Him and Jill Talley, his wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're a talented couple.
Wow. Now, would you be willing to come back on for part 2, Tim? Answer some fan submitted questions in the future.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. If you can get some questions.
I could.
Don't make them up. Don't make them up and make me feel better. No, they better be real questions from real people.
There's a Crash. There's a Crash and Bernstein group on Reddit, so I'm just saying.
No. I read it all the time. How come I don't know that?
I could send you the link to the Reddit page. You can see.
I know how to work. I'm not that old, Joe. I know how to work Reddit. You don't have to handhold me through Reddit.
No. Tim,
that's the third time you call me old, Joe.
Tim,
Yeah, that's not how you get people to be on your show. Calling them old. When people come on the show, you got to be nice.
Tim, before I ask you my last question, do you have any questions?
What's your favorite episode of Crash and Bernstein?
Ooh.
Gotcha.
Damn. Okay, so please, let me
guess. Wanda Gregory's in it.
Maybe. Yeah. Sorry.
She's in all of them.
But my favorite episode probably has to be the pilot because it's always the best. You know what I mean? Because you get to meet the characters.
You think the pilot's always the best episode?
Yeah, honestly. Sorry, that's what I was.
Okay.
Honestly, because it could introduce you to the characters. Like, who would have thought that you would met like a purple guy, little purple guy coming out of a box? Sorry.
He fist busts through the box.
Yeah.
And tortures everybody.
Yeah.
I like. I almost never like the pilot episode. I always like because then people still figure out their characters. I always like a couple episodes in, when people kind of really get a swing and they kind of know who they are. And the people seem to have a little more fun. They're always very nervous on a pilot because you don't know who you are yet.
That's true. Okay? Since you asked me, I'm reversing it back to you. What's your favorite Crash and Bernstein episode? Yeah, I'm reversing.
The one where I get sick and I'm in the bubble.
Oh my god! Sorry, that's the point.
Oh, do you want a good Crash and Bernstein story?
Sure. What you got? What do you got?
That episode.
Okay.
So there's another puppeteer who helps me on the show. His name is Paul McGinnis. He's a wonderful puppeteer. And if I need extra hands, he's always there helping me do my hands or helping me with props and stuff like that. And so we had to do. We're in the bubble, and I had to throw up. Remember that part?
So I'm just laughing because I'm the coach.
And the original script was Crash was supposed to throw up and keep throwing up, and the bubble was going to fill up with vomit, and they were going to cut right when the vomit got to here. And Disney was like, nope, no, you're not doing that. Nope. Someone's going to get freaked out. In fact, they said, you're only allowed to throw up 3 times. That's it. Standards and practices, they're just, protecting people. I'm sure they had a good reason, but they're like, that's it. You get 3 vomits. That's it. Okay. So how do you do that with a puppet? Well, so that's why he picks up the bubble and puts it on top of the whack-a-mole machine, because it's a big clear bubble. Where are you going to hide the puppeteer? So I'm inside the whack-a-mole machine with Paul. So I'm all the way up to my armpit. You see all the way down to Crash's feet, and Crash's feet came to about here. And I'm in the bubble. And they gave us junky clothes because they said, okay, so the vomit might leak out. We don't want to ruin your clothes. And we put a lot of purple dye in the vomit so it would read on camera. So it's like we put all the purple dye in there. Like, okay. And they gave me the valve. So you hit the valve, you squeeze the valve, and the vomit happens. There's a big air tank and then a big vomit tank. And I had a valve, and then a hose went up my sleeve and came out Crash's mouth. There's a little hose in his mouth. and I'd go, and he would throw up. So I'm in the bubble, and we do the first take, and I go, and the second time I put it right in Wyatt's face because I'm talking to him, and I go, and I knew he was gonna freak out because I knew he would flinch because there's plexiglass between us, but I knew that I would get him to flinch. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get Cole to flinch. And then the third time I do I crash his head back, and I like, Rah! There was a leak in the hose, in the vomit hose. And I'm holding it, and I'm just doing this big vomit. It's the last one they're going to give me. I'm going to empty the tank, and the tank explodes.
Oh my god! Sorry.
If you watch that episode,
Mhm.
go back and watch it, and watch the bloopers during the end credits.
Okay.
They show that. They show the tank exploding. And what you see is on the screen, you see all these kids are all like standing around watching me throw up. And the minute it explodes, every kid just goes, whoosh, they disappear. Every child, every extra on that set was like ran. They all just run out of the shot. They're gone. But I'm trapped inside the thing, and it's just pouring purple vomit all over me and my friend Paul. And I'm in, it's small in there, and I've got a TV monitor so I can see what I'm doing, and I just see all this mess on the wall in front of me. And I'm like, is that fake vomit or is that Paul? Like, Paul, you okay, Paul? Paul. And they go, cut. And I go, yeah, I'm okay. Like, Paul, why didn't you say anything? I thought you were hurt. It's like, no one yelled cut. So we come out, and someone has to have these pictures. I don't have these pictures, but someone's got them. My skin was stained purple for about 2 weeks.
Oh my god!
They had so much dye, it leaked into my skin, and I came out and I showered in the shower. My wife laughed so hard. I came home, I was half purple from it. So they reloaded it. We did it again. Got it to work right the second time, but that time I was covered. I was actually crash colored for about a week and a half. It took it that long for the dye to wear off. But if you go back, you'll see the tank exploding during the end credits.
Oh, crash and burn! Crash and burn! What he said!
Any cool behind the scenes videos too? Oh, you don't.
I was busy working, Joe.
Yeah, no one ever
on the
recorded
floor with my arm inside a puppet the whole time.
No one ever
and they discourage you from filming on the set.
Really?
They don't want anything to get leaked. So if you have a camera on set, they always ask you to put it away. That's very rare. If we take pictures behind the scenes, we're always have to be off the set, and we're not allowed to be in any of the costumes. So I've got a couple of pictures with me with celebrities, like with Ron Funches and with Andrea Martin, that I've posted already on my Instagram, but I don't really have anything good. I've got a bunch of pictures from the workshop, I think, that I don't think I'm allowed to share. I think I have to ask the mouse if I'm allowed to share those pictures. I don't think I'm supposed to have those pictures. Don't tell anybody. Okay, whatever you do, don't tell anybody. I know we're on the internet right now, but tell no one.
everybody. Shh.
Shh, everyone just keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut.
Oh, it's Crash coming after you.
Oh, I don't. The Mickey Mouse will come after you with a baseball bat.
Tim, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out? Like I'll link down below in the videos.
I have nothing to promote right now. No,
Okay.
nothing I can talk about. Everything's top secret right now, so I can't say.
How about your social media pages?
Just go to my website, tim@timlagasse.com. You see everything you need to see, and weird pictures.
So go to your website, and then how about your do you have Instagram? You said Instagram.
I'm Puppet Tim on Instagram.
Do you have Twitter?
No, I'm getting rid of Twitter.
I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
it's getting to be messy over there. I don't like it. I don't think it's safe over there anymore. And I have a Twitter account just so I never post to Twitter. I just read it. Now I'm kind of I haven't been on Twitter in a long time. So I'm all Instagram. I might think about it. I'm thinking about a TikTok, but I don't have that yet. I'll get a secret TikTok so I can watch TikTok, but I'm not posting TikTok yet.
Everybody go follow Tim on Instagram. That's all I'm gonna say.
Puppet Tim. Puppettim.
You said Pete. I'm sorry.
I did. I said pee.
Well, thank you, and Tim, for being an awesome, amazing guest. I had a fun time chatting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me. It's been a great time. Thank you for laughing at my jokes.
Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome, and you stay awesome, Tim.